We don't like corrupt police, corrupt security, or overcharges on our lease. The ones who act brand new with my own money. It kind of sounds like stupidity because they sit around and they act like the police, but they mall cop security. That's who I know who is real to their brothers. That's when I got the phone call and I was like, what, another? They all huddle together. They all act stupid together. I'm waiting for my constant cash in any weather. I don't ever have to act like them. Everything was all brand new and they were acting pretend. I was outside doing big things, shitty popping. I had the whole streets hot because I was really dropping. That's how I know who is who. If my road turned all blue, guess what color they wanted to act like too? Why you think when them and them was wearing all red, they turned around and act like the neighbors were all blue? I seen way too many 30-minute incidents between this and that. Then I pull up with the paper and it don't even say nothing. That's where the paper is blank all of a sudden. Too many minutes in a day. Too many pages like a ray. If I wrote "see me," they wanted to act like they could do other things. Best believe I already knew that. Because if my money's still over there and I drop a new rap, that's how I know who the police was and where they were really at. I pulled up Big Body at the bank. Alex Pagan was dumber than he really thinks. Rica Salvador owes me like 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 billions. Just for the choices that she made were really pretend. Shitty popping wasn't even really written. I draw a real one. Didn't have to fake with their sister. Didn't have to go to a bigger white dude just so her mom could bend over and act brand new. I said, where's my CC that was constant cash for me? I like pretty sights, but I do it in scenery. Too many girls I kept around me. I was in a club surrounded by army. Had to pull a solo though. Big body with a solo flow. I was outside making more dough. That's how I know when they try to act older than you. When they act like their technology gotta be coded too, that's why they go around in AC. Because when I was really hot, they were really just babies. The dub is for the club, not a weirdo. The dub is for the club, for real though. WI is not a winter flow. That's Wisconsin crossing border controls. They pulled up with loud video and audio. I put peace signs in the air like adios. We don't gotta act brand new like they getting paid different. Acting like they security, but really just children. That's how I know when I walked in an office who was lying about this and that and what the time really said. We don't got police pulling up before I see things. Nothing goes unforeseen in 7 rings. Every time my city pop, double drop, Magic Island, I keep it hot. I don't really know what they talking about. That's interrogation, every word that came out of their mouths. Bing, bop, boom, boom, bow. Yeah, we could do this forever. That's how I know every time I try to drop again, they act clever. Artifacts in the sound or whatever. Why? Because I went 95, but I kept it 100. 19 years, they was babies, they just kids. That's when I went in the bank and they were all fronting. You know, I was in the back, they was in the front end. White lady said, put your phone down. I said, whose phone you think it is? Why you trying to act like your property is mine? I mean, my property is yours and that's not even fine. Now I'm worth 100 trillion because they lie. You know, they even type different letters. Oh my. That don't make it real though. That don't make it true, ho. I was out city popping like Sohos. You know, 4 C's for Mr. Ford, please. I had to pull up with the long sleeves. I don't gotta act brand new with them and them. Just because the cameras is pointed and all of them. That's when I knew they was brand new when they played pretend. You know, something circular and black on the other end. But I see through the fish eyes. See through the new lies. And then they act like they pay them and them and them. Oh, what a surprise. We don't want to hear their stories told that were all lies. TWC, that's a dub in the sky. You know, I was smiling. Number 1 winning. They wanted to see me cry. Now it's trophy, 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 flag, 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 diamonds. Oh my. I ran into the bank. They tried to touch my gold that was worth more than they could ever think. You know, that was a big body 14K Cuban link. She tried to act egotistical. You know, I had to be real, a real one. I dropped miracles. There was babies wearing the same clothes. I don't gotta act Asian like all of you and do something stupid out of the blue. Blue Street, baby, who is you? Had the block hot when I was like only 2. That's why I kept it real every time I sat down with each of you. I don't gotta use cameras and act like something else is true. Now look at you. Constant Cash. She disappeared out of the blue. Deep dive. Big wave. Down under. Ooh, ooh. We don't gotta stop it. Wicked City Papa drop another hit. But now it's too real. Now I'm like Holyfield. You know, that's when you don't lie, but you still up on the field. I could see through all of that. I could see through her mama when she was, you know, Asian and didn't know how to act. She wanted to act like Mariah and dance around and all of that. He knew who wasn't healthy when I was healthy as well. Like every day. You know, when they slow down. Twitter fingers. Like, what do they say? I dropped Revolution like 2 years ago. Maybe even 1. Did it with a new flow. I was who they want. I was the miracle. I was the only son. Like, ooh. Oh. Your sister took your phone like your mom did. Then she blocked the numbers and acted like a kid. That's why I said, put your shoes on. That's how I know who you really did want. He don't gotta act like he gotta listen to you, and you. I already spun the block. Before I had to act brand new. They was trying to move, I don't know, walls. Trying to chop tops. Trying to act hot. I was back to back every time I did drop. That's why a white lady was in a bank trying to stop. I was like, who is he? Turned around, it was Monali'i. And then they try to say I was trying to act high. But every time I drop, that's a dove in the sky. Where's my food? Where's my peas? Where's my cheese? Where's my potatoes and broccoli? Constant Cash Records, yeah, they know who is he. Big J back again, apparently. You know, City Poppin' 8 minutes. Then I dropped 411 Compromise. Another 11 minutes. They was outside acting like Dennis the Menaces. Then he tried to act like Junior, but they stole my money. Nobody steals Josh for his money. Nobody steals Constant Cash's money. You know, that's when you get to see the incident reports before they even report. If I was all A's, it was acting like poor sports. You know, I don't like to play, even when I was in different courts. Circuit 1, Circuit 2, Circuit 3, Circuit 4. Big body sound like I was slamming Bentley doors. You know, cheers, I did toast. They wanted to see. I had to go ghost. Once I dropped See Me, I knew where they went. They wanted me to see them, but they wasn't really spent. That's why she gotta be naked cleaning my whole house. If not, then she was acting like her mom, somebody else's spouse. If I had my plate full, then she's acting like a mouse. You know, they wanted to act like peasants. I was acting like a boss. If I, was fired up and really too fly, just like when I was on camera on the course, she wanted to act out of line. You know, that's when you scribble and everything is to the side. It's just all day, all night. Oh my, what a surprise. Every day we were spending Constant Cash. Every day was a present. Now I got Samantha Gabriel, Ivalani Justice, even Paul Haku Kula Jr. caught in all lies. You know, after Monolith, I had to turn the camera to the side. I was doing push-ups getting big. Then he wanted to act like a Dot Lee on the, on the side. I had the cameras out like Spike Lee. Oh my. If she was white, she wasn't transparent. They was all in the bank doing things they shouldn't do. I had to walk up to each teller like, who is you? You know, if I needed customer service, then they acted like they were brand new. I had to pull up with the blue and white shoes. Satin, I made it happen like what it do. We don't like lies told. We don't like racist people. We don't even like them when the money lies and looks unequal. TransUnion, Equifax, 19 years, all back to back. That's how I could see who was the first to lie. When she act like I was trespassing, but she was new on the side. Acting Hawaiian, but skin lighter than mine. Hair all straight. Oh. Why? We could keep going. We could fill in the blanks. That's like a loose leaf when you were supposed to be writing and really say what you think. That's how I know on the weekends they was really like what it drank. You know, mixing potions. I was city popping in a big league at Oceans. I told her pull up CC's. And then she acted like where she went. Constant cash records I really had to spend. I knew percentages were off when I made like 8 in a day, 9 in a day, maybe even 10. Then they wanted to act like they could do it too and didn't know what a Black Swan event was. And then once they see that, they change everything. Wall Street popping, my street popping. You know, I turned on purple lights, then they started acting like goblins. That's when the cameras was on all of them. That's why they like to, you know, switch it off when it's on all of them. So they could run the block and act like it was all of them. That's why I could see where the cameras was really at. That's how I knew when they acted R&B when I was really rap. I was outside in the streets in all black. That's how when they talk, I know it's all cap. Then and then. I had to pull up in all white like a captain. Flight mode, baby, what's happening? It's global talk. Now I walk around with a global walk. Had the whole thing popping like it was global stock. You know, she was with a baby rock. I was with the heart. It was acting like Bretman's. But what did that do when they really had to spend? So if it's like 6 of you, where's my money back? Where's the receipts at? Where's the things I had to really see so I could believe that? New tracks back to back. The suits all black. You could see me in that. Italy, Italiano. Like, look at me. Cuban link. Don't touch that. I dropped Untouchable. That they tried to grab it. Sorry, tricks are for kids, silly rabbits. Now look at them and them and them hanging out with Alex. Whose best friend was that? The one that act like this and that, covered in all tats. All gold on. Then they tried to act like it was fake. I said, what the number read? The one in the small face. I had diamonds in her face. Black diamonds on her face. I said, you know what it is? What the timing really say? I dropped 7 rings, then they pulled up with like 7 of them. Like, you must be crazy. Flight mode, baby. You know, that's when I'm in the sky, making it look easy. Asking for more gravy. City Pop, you're on. We scanning everybody. You know. He said, I want to knock you out. I said, you really lucky. They don't know how to act because I would have just clocked back. Street Sweeper, baby, I would have just cocked that. Bop, 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 bop. It's over, it's a wrap. Bop. Bop. They would have been all flat. I had to take over. I had to really come back. With the score read 95. Oh, man. Constant Cash don't even do records. He don't even rap without that. That's how I know how they lie and how they act. That's world music. That's the Winners Club. That's Constant Cash. He don't even need tats. That's how I know when she pulled up and how she acted. I said, get that off your arm. Stop acting. That's when I know she went to her mom and started acting. Brand new. I seen like 2, 6, 3 dudes. Then I went on Cam and said, bro, who is you? I'm the only one on Cam. I was the only one keeping it true. Then they cleared out. You know, I had VVS's. You could see clearly now. We used to just do this all day. I don't even need a drum machine or pianos or whatever they play. We was in the streets for real. You know, then I had to start producing like for real. I can't hear any of that in the back. Security, police, or whatever that. We was online doing big things. City Pop, wearing big rings. You know, I used to rap fast. Saw the security in the back on Killer Ting Ting. I was on a course. All you could hear was ting, ting. 5 courses. Big body, 5 horses. I said, who is you? I went corporate. Lawyers lie, attorneys lie, then put it all in words like, oh my. You know, I said I got lawyers on the team. Then he put it in all text. I didn't want to read that. I couldn't see a thing. So once they get their money up, then they try to act like it's only them. I could see through the lies when they may pretend. So if he's 70 years old, 60 years old, they try to split the difference. But I already was a soul survivor even in business. Then I went 365. That's illegal. 7 rings, that was a freestyle. Why you gotta act brand new instead of sending my constant cash? Then I seen 2 girls on camera and they didn't know how to act. You know, AC. Cameras plugged in like DCs. I was doing ollies rocking DVS's, not DCs. I was presidential like Washington, D.C. You know, then they try to buy a house. I was like, who's key? Then I heard some youngin', you know, talking loud. I was like, who is he? Now they all try to act street on cameras. I said, turn it off. I spent everything, made more. I felt like Santa. You know, I reindeer, pulled up big bodies looking like reindeers. That's when I go consecutive and reign for years. That's what the real does. I was the one who they want. Legacy, baby. Just because.